Good evening, guys. I think it's all set up. So this session is more about the sociology as an optional rather than optional in general, as mentioned in the poster also. So we'll start basically by knowing the importance of optional, how to decide an optional. I'll just take 5-10 minutes for the same, and then we can start with sociology specifically. So see, for any optional you should see three basic things. I feel so, three basic things to decide, to finalize whether you are whether you will be comfortable with that optional or not. Only three basic things. So I think we can start now. Almost many people have joined, so or should I wait? Okay, so we'll start. So I was telling, for optional, three basic things are needed. Only three basic things to decide whether an optional is suitable for you or not. So the first thing is very basic. It's very basic. That is interest. Interest in the optional. And interest in the optional is not based on what you think about optional in general. For example, you shouldn't be thinking like, okay, sociology I love because I love social things or I love social issues. No, that's not the way to go. Or you shouldn't be thinking about PSIR only for the reason that, okay, I love international relations, I love how countries talk to each other, how they communicate. All those things doesn't matter as such, because those are the things that you have somewhere in your mind. You build up those things after seeing some basic, like maybe some news, some videos, or your surroundings. Maybe those are the basic things that you see, right? But the more important, but for UPSC, the more important and the basic criteria to select an optional is to actually see the syllabus and understand whether you can be comfortable with the keywords that has been mentioned in the syllabus, whether you will be able to study them or not. You should be comfortable with it, right? For anything, for example, some people say that you must be seeing that people in class 9, 10th or 11th, 12th, they say that their favorite subject is, like after 10th they said I'll go for maths, or I'll go for biology, or I'll go for commerce section. Only after deciding, only after knowing their interest, right? They don't say on the basis of that I want to be. Generally they say on the basis of, okay, I'm good at maths, so I'll go for maths, or I don't like maths much, I'm much better at biology, so I'll go for the biology. Those are the basic things, right? So here also, first thing is interest. For interest, you need to see the syllabus. Just see the syllabus. For example, if you see the syllabus of sociology, we'll take sociology as an example here. So sociology syllabus it starts like with sociology as a discipline, modernity and social changes in Europe, sociology as a science, research methods, sociological thinkers. Then you work and economic life is there. Then stratification is there. So you should while reading the syllabus, you should question yourself. You should really ask yourself that whether, okay, if I read about concepts of equality, inequality, hierarchy, exclusion, poverty, or deprivation, so will I be comfortable in reading this? If I have to read more, if I have to dig deeper in these concepts, will I be able to relate to like my real life, or will I be able to read more about it? You should be having that kind of confidence before going for it, right? Further you go, politics and society. So bureaucracy is there, pressure groups is there, political parties is there. So you should know about all these things. Basic idea should be there. Okay, if I have to read, generally what you hear about political parties, okay, this party is other elections is there. That's the only thing. On the basis of that, you can't decide whether you are interested or not. You have to understand how they work, what are the bases, what has been the history of political parties, and why those are important for a democratic country, etc. Right? Same goes with other kinship and social change in the modern society. Education as social change. So education as social change you see every day, right? Like for example, a girl, we talk about girl education, we talk about eradicating child labor and right to education till 2010 Act and all. Okay, so those basic things are the basis of your decision of selecting an option. And so first thing is interest, right? Keywords are like this: Indian society, social change, religion and society, So politics and society and nation, state, citizenship, these are keywords. So on the basis of that you decide, okay, I'll be happy to read this. Same goes with any other option, right? Second thing is about syllabus. You should see the length of the variety of syllabus that has been given, right? You should know, like, will I be able to cover it? What are the important topics in it that you can understand by seeing previous year papers? So that you should know. And third thing is the practicality, right? Practicality in the sense, you should also see the material available for the same, right? So you should know what are the sources of preparation, and then you should know whether I'll be needing a coaching or are there online sources or not, what are the books available in the market. All of these things are important, right? You should know about it. After deciding, after seeing your interest, then your practicality, your syllabus, after this you decide finally, okay, this is the perfect option for me. So this was the basic that I wanted to share with you. I also followed the same strategy, right? That's why I'm telling it really helps. So next we go about sociology as an optional. So this session is mainly about sociology. So see, sociology as an optional is very there are both pros and cons for it. So pros are very basic. See, first thing is it is something that you see in your daily life. Although you don't observe in a sociological manner, you generally observe like as a general person, like, okay, this is going on. For example, dowry or domestic violence, or maybe other sociological issues like intercaste marriages, etc. All of these things you see in your everyday life, but you just read in newspaper, maybe sometimes you see on TV, or some discussions are going on, and then you move forward. You don't think much about it, right? But sociology not forces as such, but sociology asks you that you should go deep into such concepts and dig about it and understand why these things are going on, what are the basic reasons behind it, and how we can solve it. So one aspect is that these things are going, how political involvement is there. For example, for intercaste marriages, some political involvements in the sense there is a political aspect to it, okay, that there is some launch of the scheme. There is one scheme based on Ambedkar Foundation, something of that sort, where they give some amount to encourage intercaste marriage and to give a better life to those couples. But from sociological angle, you should see like what their family thinks, right? Why intercaste is seen as a curse for them, for the Orthodox people. Why people think that it is a big thing? Why don't they accept normally? What are the reasons for it? Those reasons are generally dealt by sociology. So that is the basic idea behind sociology, that you try to find theories around the practicalities that you see in your life. That's the basic foundation or the basic principle of sociology, right? So see, the first thing that I will do is to ask you that whoever is after using those three criteria, right? I told you interest, practicality and syllabus. After those criteria, once you decide your optional, in this case sociology, you see your syllabus again and see it thoroughly. Just be comfortable with it. You should know that for next 2-3 months or next 5 months I'll be studying this, I'll be reading this, and I'll be again and again going deeper into the concepts. Maybe I have to read for 10 times, but I'll read. So be comfortable with the keywords. You should know, okay, these are the things that I'm going to do. Second thing is, then you should know the sources as I discussed. So sources I'll tell you topic wise. I hope you must have seen sociology syllabus at least once. So I'll just give you a rough idea of the book list of the sources that you can use for sociology as an optional. Although many sources are there on net, many sources are there, but you just search and you'll get many good websites and many toppers who will tell about the sources. So I'll just quickly run through the sources, and then we can discuss about how to approach this subject. Okay, so see, paper 1 is there is this 80-20 rule in paper 1 and paper 2. In the sense, paper 1 is more about the static portion, right? It's like 80% it's static, 20% is somewhat optional, or somewhat, sorry, not optional, somewhat dynamic. Paper 2 is just opposite. It's almost 80%, 70-80% it's purely dynamic. It's based on something that something that is based totally on the current affairs, what's going on in the current life, in the issue, dealing with the issues around the world, around your surroundings. While paper 1 is more about the static portion, more about the concepts, the idea of the basic sociology, or the sociology when it began in 19th century, when it developed in the 19th century. So paper 1, the first topic is about sociology, the discipline, right? Also before we start discussing about this, 4 books you have to read compulsory, right? 4 books of class 11th and class 12th. There are total 2 books each for sociology, NCERT. So that you have to read thoroughly, so that you become, like, you should know the basic understanding what sociology will be about. Like, first thing I told you was about seeing the keywords, right? Seeing keywords in the syllabus. Then on those keywords there are some basic definitions that are mentioned in this NCERTs. Like, there is understanding sociology, introducing sociology. Then there is Indian society, and Indian sociology is also another book, sociology of understanding society, class 11th NCERT. So there are 2 NCERTs of class 11th and 2 NCERTs in class 12th. Total 4 NCERTs are there for sociology, right? So you just complete those sociologies, those NCERTs, and after that you'll be like more comfortable in starting with the standard books, right? If you directly start the standard book, that's also fine, but it will be a bit difficult for you. Because standard books generally use a bit of complicated language. Okay, so you start with the basic NCERTs, right? After that, when you go for topic wise book list, there we can talk about standard books. For example, if you go by the sociology, so there are 2-3 books that are very basics, like Harlem-Bose. You must have heard about it, Harlem-Bose and Holborn. The blue one, the thick one. Then George Ritzer's book is also there, Sociological Theory. And then IGNOU BA, to some extent I'll tell you how to study and what to study from that. And I personally think that if there are any good notes of any teacher, then those are the notes of Mahapatra sir. He belongs to Delhi, so you can find his notes online also. You can order. So for some, I referred to his notes for most of the topics, because he really teaches in a very crisp manner, and his notes are also very crisp and to the point. And then there is one more book, Essential Sociology by Nitin Sangwan. It is the latest book released last year only, and it is very good book. Like, it's like one-stop solution. Everything is mentioned in that book, topic wise, everything you can find. And similarly, there is also a book of Vikas Ranjan, both for paper 1 and paper 2. So these are some of the books that you can refer, right? So like for first topic, sociology, the discipline, I would say that you refer to for this. So these kind of topics are very static. Like, it's totally about what happened, how it emerged, what are the reasons that sociology emerged, and comparisons of sociology and other disciplines like sociology and philosophy, and sociology and history. Like, there is one common thing, like sociology wouldn't have been possible if there would have been no history, right? Because sociology emerged because of the historical things. Like Karl Marx, total sociology is based on the historical materialism, and not totally based on the history, right? So if there would have been no history, no sociology. The other thing is, like, if there would have been no sociology, no history. Like, history generally they write about, for example, if you see Indian history also, if you talk about social renaissance movements like by Raja Ram Mohan Roy, or for that matter any of the social leaders, they are in the books of history for doing social, for doing some of the social works, doing social changes. Like for Sati, it's a social change. The movement is for a social change. So if there would have been no social issues, then there would have been no history that would have mentioned about Raja Ram Mohan Roy, right? So both are interlinked. So these are like small comparisons that they do between two subjects. So that's these 3 things, like sociology as a discipline. These 3 things you can do basically from Essential Sociology by Nitin Sangwan, or you can also do from Vikas Ranjan's book. Also, if you are buying Mahapatra sir's notes, from that also you can do. So it's you can just have a look. You can just have a look like which source you think is more comfortable to you as far as writing is considered, as far as crispness is considered. I personally think that for these things you can go with essential sociology. It's good. And sociology as science, totally factual. It's about totally scientific methods, positivism, critic, everything is totally factual. So you go with essential sociology or Vikas Ranjan's book. Same goes with research methods. Sociological thinkers is the most important part of paper 1. Almost 60% of the questions that come in paper 1 are based on, like, somewhere or other there is a link to sociological thinker. You have to use them. Directly questions are around 20-30%, but in another 30-40% you have to use them to get good marks. I in paper 1 I scored around 164. So main reason was this only, that I used a lot of thinkers for not for everything, but for other topics also, like for example positivism and its critic, that you have to use thinkers like who were positivists and who were totally in the favor of sociology. And so sociological thinkers, there is an important book by George Ritzer. It's called as sociological theory, right? So sociological theory is basically about how those thinkers thought. It's not about what they explain to the world. That's the one thing. For example, this session I am explaining you, right? But before this session I would have been thinking something like, what should I say, how should I explain the things, how should I tell the sources. So for that thinking, that particular thinking in my mind, that process is mentioned in George Ritzer of all the thinkers before Marx gave the theories of alienation or the theories of social revolution that will be needed to against the capitalist and all. So that thing, what he thought, how he developed theories, all those things are mentioned. So I'll say for Marx, you go with Ritzer. There are some 2-3 chapters in IGNOU BA also. In IGNOU BA you don't buy everything, you only buy ESO 13, I think, that is based on basically thinkers about Karl Marx and all. So you buy that thing. And Harlem Bose, in Harlem Bose also, like in bits and pieces it's mentioned about Marx. When you find about Karl Marx in that, you just read the portions that are mentioned in this. Like for example, Karl Marx, it's mentioned historical materialism, right? Then mode of production, alienation and class struggle. So historical materialism you will find very well in the Ritzer and also in Harlem Bose. Mode of production you will find in Harlem Bose. Alienation you will find. Class struggle also you will find in Harlem Bose very well. So Harlem Bose I'm talking here is a blue one, Harlem Bose and Holborn, right? The thick one, not the orange one. Then Emile Durkheim, the same thing, DOL, division of. For Emile Durkheim also I would prefer Ritzer, IGNOU PA and Essential Sociology. Essential Sociology really gives a good idea on the concepts of Emile Durkheim. Max Weber, I would say for Weber and Parsons, Mahapatra sir's notes are very good. He has explained and he is related to the real world also. See, this is what is important. These things you will find, but you have to relate with the real world also. For example, when we talk about Max Weber, he talks about ideal type, right? So ideal type is something, I will just give 2 lines about it. Ideal type is something about what are the different possibilities of a situation. Like for example, for forming a political party there can be X number of reasons, but there is reality is so vast and so chaotic, so diverse, that you can't cover everything in a small piece of paper or in a single book. It's always like something else keeps on adding, more and more things are there. So ideal type is like, why do political parties are important for a democratic country? For example, this is the question. So there can be 3 reasons. For example, if I can give 3 reasons, you can add the 4th one, someone can add the 5th one. So ideal type is like those ideal 5 reasons which will be always there, but there can be more reasons to it. So it's never the complete thing. So this you can use in the real life also. Like in real life, if you talk about poverty or education, where there you can use you can always, for example, there is a question in paper 1, if there is any question like Max Weber's concept, form an ideal type of poverty. This can be questions are like this only these days, more about the practical things that are going on. So form an ideal type of poverty. For example, this is the question. So you form like ideal type for the reasons of poverty can be many. Like there can be economic reasons, there can be social reasons, there can be gender reasons. Many things are there. For example, gender reasons like if a woman, if there is a if husband is not working and he's like, generally we see that there are cases of liquor and then domestic violence, and woman is the only person earning, so she has to face the death of her husband. That's why she is unable to go out for work. She is beaten, and then she has to take care of her child also. So they are poor not because they are not capable to earn, because of the sociological reasons like domestic violence. So there can be different. So this is one part of ideal type. Second can be economic reasons like no one they are earning but they don't have enough qualification to get a better job. XYZ. Okay. So that's why Mahabharata sir's notes are good. As far as Weber and Parsons, both Talcott Parsons also, sir has explained very well. You can see those notes, or if not that, then you can go with Ritzer also. Ritzer also they have mentioned. And if you find the language of Ritzer also complicated, you go with Essential Sociology or Vikas Ranjan's book. Both are good. For Mead, I would say you go only for Ritzer. Ritzer is very good, very well explained. So Mead, generally there is one question, because Mead nowadays is becoming more and more important with the cases of stress increasing day by day and your identity. So Mead becomes important topic as far as paper 1 is considered. So you go with Ritzer. Ritzer explains it very well. Stratification and mobility, you go totally with Harlem-Bose. In the second, third chapter only. Like in 2019 also there was one question. Davis and Moore made it clear that social stratification is a functional necessity and also an unconscious device, right? So you go with it. Go with Harlem-Bose. Harlem-Bose explains it very well as far as the stratification is considered. All the perspectives are there. So the stratification of class, status group, gender, ethnicity, and race, all of them you can find there. And if you are, if you find that it is way too much of information, then you can. If it's like way too much of information, then you can go with the basic books that I've told, like Vikas Ranjan's book and Essential Sociology of Nitin Sangwan. These two books are like, if you are unable to find some good sources, or if you are unable to find anything in the other standard books, the specifically made for some specific topics, then you can refer this. It's always good to cover every aspect instead of leaving them. Then works and economic life, there is no specific source for it. It's like the questions from this are very normal, very general. Like they'll ask you normal thing: what is difference between like formal organization and informalization? So see, formal, informal things are different. Formal means okay, everything is there is a structure of the department. Everyone is coming on time. XYZ. There is, for example, biometric is there. They have to work till this time. This department deals only with this thing. So everything is structured and streamlined. That is a formal setup of work. Informal is like there is no only some attendance register is there, anyone is doing, and there is no surety that who came, who didn't come, and all the there is no online updation. Everything is like on someone signs and updates it, and people are not knowing what's. It's informal. Like there is no structure. There is no division of labor in it. No properly divided work, no structures, no proper hierarchy, nothing is there. So that is informal. Informalization is something that is a process. Like formal and informal is a structure. Informalization and formalization are processes. Like informalization can be informal structure also. Like if there is a formal structure, there is a company, everything is structured, properly structured. Division of labor is there, HR department is there, XYZ, then proper hierarchy is there. But then there will be informalization, means the work is not being properly streamlined. There is no online updation of the work that is being done. People are not exchanging the required things between departments. There is no coordination between departments. Even though departments are there, structure is there, but coordination and intertwining is not there. So then informalization takes place in such cases. So these are the basic things that you learn from newspapers and all. The questions that they'll ask in this is like, what is the difference between formal and informal kind of labor, division of labor maybe. So like farming is informal division of labor, like there you don't divide the work, right, generally. So Okay, so then comes politics and society, right? So politics and society, again you go by basic sources like politics and society. Totally go with Harlan Bose and essential sociology. Okay, Harlan Bose, the blue one. It's very well mentioned there. You find every major perspective being mentioned there about power, elite, about bureaucracy, pressure groups, political parties. Everything is there. You just see what they have done. They have mentioned in a very diverse manner, right? They've tried to mention everything. So that is not enough to like that is sorry that is more than enough. Like you don't need to do that much, but you only see the gist. You only see the gist of like what that person is trying to tell. You read everything and you write 2 lines. Make your own notes. Okay, for example, political theories, pressure groups. Pressure groups. What are the reasons why pressure groups are formed? What are the effects of it? And only these two things. And some of the examples in the current India or world, around the world. Pressure groups like the farmers, FPOs are there. If there is some kind of NGO, all these things, right? Then protest, agitation, social movements, all of these things are very common you see in your everyday life. For this, the theories that you need is, though you don't need very theoretical concepts, you only need to understand the basic difference. Like these questions generally come in short notes in papers, in main UPSC papers also. Like they'll just ask you what is the difference, differentiate between protest and agitation. So you should know the basic things. Protest is like something that is organized, that people are more about, they know the particular topic, why they are doing that, what is their goal, everything they know. But agitation is generally like a random thing. There is no specified goal, there is no specified leader or something. Protest you generally see there is a leader to it, right? So that is the thing. Then religion and society, you go with Harlan Bose. They have mentioned everything, and you also see Vikas Ranjan's book in this. Okay, these are the 2 sources for this. For kinship, I would ask you to go with the notes of Mahapatra sir, Subhash Mahapatra sir. He has given good. He's mentioned like some of the basic complicated kinship patterns in India. See, in this generally questions don't come on this lineage and descent and types, and generally what comes is contemporary trends. Generally those are the major topics that UPSC touches on. And then the marriage thing, for example, now you see there are new forms of marriage that are coming up, right? Like they can ask questions like LGBT things, right? Like these are the new things that are it's legal now. So they can ask you, what do you think, what are the sociological impacts of those things? How do you see new forms of marriage, like more divorces are increasing. There is marriages like in South there is a different kind of marriage, in North you see a different kind of marriage. What are the basic differences? Then they can ask you about the family, different kind of families, joint families or nuclear families. So all of these concepts you read, these are the basic concepts that you should know. But they'll not ask you about like they'll ask you why. They'll ask you why you think these contemporary trends are coming up. So reasons can be like Bollywood, or they can be like cinema affects people, their mindset, or other reasons can be like people are becoming more, and their education is spreading, and so people think that okay, they are more liberal, their mindset is more liberal, they feel like it's okay, person matters and it doesn't matter, intercaste marriages are taking place, government is supporting. So these are the reasons that they'll ask. So for example, if they ask reasons for new forms of marriage, then you say technological change like media, cinema, YouTube videos, movies, everything, short films. You talk about political reasons, schemes supporting them. You talk about social reasons, education, that you write about education. So these are the basic things, right, that you learn after knowing the theories. Social change in modern society, this is also very current affairs based. So see, kinship and social change, these are the 2 things that are generally more of a contemporary things, more of things that are going on. Like what are social theories, sociological theories of change. So here you talk about social change. Many thinkers are there. A.G. Frank is there, who talks about a satellite, and he talks about like there is a one society is there, another society. Generally uses that other society's resources to develop its own resource, to develop its own systems. So for example, he talks about modern countries like USA or Europe, they using other countries' resources by investing in those places, like the way Britishers used India, right? So metropole is there, and then one satellite is there. So satellite is the source of all these theories you will learn once you read all of this. So I'm telling the sources, right? So you go with the essential sociology or Vikas Ranjan's book in this social change. So here we end the paper 1. So paper 1 is more about the static things. The more you focus on the sociological thinkers, those are the most important things. I've told you the sources basically. So, and other than that, you focus on using these thinkers in other parts. Like for example, when you read Harlem Bose, okay, in Harlem Bose you will see in religion, they've used sociological theories of Marx. Like Marx tells that religion is the opium of the masses, right? So why does he tell so? What is the reason? So you'll understand, like he tells that is because of the capitalist priests, that they support capitalists, and they tell, okay, if you don't do this you will go in heaven, if you don't in XYZ, you will see all. I'm not going into the details of every topic, it will take too much of time. So those are the basic things for paper 1, right? And about notes making, I would suggest you to make your own notes. Like I made my own notes, maybe I'll share sometime soon. For paper 1 I have a proper good decent notes. I have used many resources, like 3-4 resources, and then I made my own notes. So it was very useful for me. So I'll share those notes. So but I would prefer that like I would request you to make your own notes, because it will really help while making notes. While writing also, it will be easy for you to remember things, because you remember your own handwriting, your own writings, you always remember. It's very difficult to forget them, right? And it's easy to mug up those things, right? To again and again revise and understand, because you have written in them. But if you see some other notes, it's really difficult. For example, if you're in these sources also, if you're reading Essential Sociology or Ritzer or IGNOU BA or Harlem Bose or Vikas Ranjan's book or Mahapatra sir's notes, you just try to make your own notes in keywords. For example, if you take stratification, or for example if you take any thinker, so you see for like Karl Marx is there. So alienation, you just read from Ritzer also, okay, you read from IGNOU BA also, and then you read from Essential Sociology also. So you read 2-3 sources, and then you see, okay, all of them are trying to say this thing. You make some mindset of your own. Okay, this is what Marx meant by alienation, and this is how it is taking place in today's world. You would try to relate it with some cases, some current affairs, and then you make your own notes. This will really help you, because at the end you will be getting the best of everything, right? You will be capturing the best of everything, so that will really help you. Do it for everything. It will take some time. For me it took around like 2 months. I used to give 4 hours every day for 2 months continuously, but I made my own notes for both papers. So like finally after prelims, I was not in the load of reading other sources. I was like totally into, okay, these are the 2 important sources, these are the basic notes that are required, and I have covered everything. I'll just revise it again and again. It really helped me. So this was about paper 1, right? You did for everyone. Try to make your own notes, small notes, very small notes, right? Just keywords, like keywords in one line, because in exam you will only get 150 words or 250 words at max. In those words they'll ask you too many things. You will not be able to write everything. You should only know the keyword. If you write the keyword, then sentence you can form there and then and there, right? You need not worry about how will I form a sentence XYZ. Okay. So this is about paper 1, right? Then we go to paper 2. So paper 2, I told in paper 1 the rule is 80-20. 80% is static, 20% is dynamic. Paper 2 is just opposite. It's 20% static and almost 80% dynamic. It's totally based on how you use current affairs, right? So so current affairs, I think you can use like Visionize is a good source. Then Insights is also a good source for current affairs. I generally use Visionize. I was like throughout using their monthly modules, and I used to revise them. Then 365 is also there of Vision. So for paper 2, for introducing Indian society, right? Paper 2, I would say that for paper 1, even though I told you many standard books, but paper 2 I would say that it will be a waste of time, I personally feel. So that if you go for standard standard books for only for the reason that you don't have to do PhD in this subject, right? You have to only clear the exam with decent marks. So you only go with some basic things like essential sociology. They have mentioned paper 2 in essential sociology, and then in Vikas Ranjan's book also paper 2 is there, and Mohapatra sir's notes is also there. So these are the basic 3 sources that you can use for paper 2. Other than this, I'll tell you some board sources. For example, first there are 3 sections in paper 2: introducing Indian society, that is the section A. So for this I would recommend you to entirely use Mahapatra sir's notes, and you can also use some of the standard books like Modernization of Indian Tradition by Yogendra Singh is a standard book of him. From that only they have taken that topic, right? But you can't read the whole book, right? It's very difficult. So what you can do, you can either search, like for these things you can search on net. Paper 2 is mostly about searching on net and making your own notes. Totally, like it's totally, you'll get many sources. Okay, you just write, for example, Modernization of Indian Tradition. You just type on net and ask about somebody. You'll get many sources. Jot it down. Like write 7-8 important points that Yogendra Singh tried to tell, and then you are your own, no issues at all. Social background of Indian nationalism. You read from essential sociology, or you read from sir's notes, Mahapatra sir's notes, and then you try to make your own notes. Like you just try to make your own notes for every topic, maybe of 1 or 2 pages. That is enough. That is more than 2 pages are more than enough for every topic. You'll have that confidence that yes, every topic you have prepared well. So you for Indology, structural functionalism, there is one book by Indian Sociology Thought by B.K. Nagla. Okay, this is a book. If someone is interested, like he wants to dig deep into these topics, and he wants really the basic knowledge about everything, and if he is not satisfied from the sources that I've told earlier, so he can go with this sources, with this book, B.K. Nagla book, Indian Sociology Thoughts. Okay, so there he has mentioned about these thinkers. You will find it. So you can read there. 2 seconds. So this is about section A, right? Introducing Indian society and perspectives on the study of Indian society. Impact of colonial rule. So section A is totally about static portion. It is mostly about what has been done, like social reforms. Social reforms, even if you study from Spectrum, you are done. You did not study again. That is the basic thing. You should know about all the social reforms that took place after revolution, before revolution at that time. What were the basic organizations that formed, right? So then Modernization of Indian Tradition, Protestant movements, again it is mentioned in Spectrum. In Spectrum you see, in last they have mentioned all the Protestant movements, basic protests, what were the basic movements, like movements of Dayanand Saraswati, right? The movements of other reformers, other major reformers, R.K. Mohan Roy and all. So you just see all of those things. So this is done from that place. Like I did not made new notes for this, because I already did in history. In social structure, for rural and agrarian social structure, like this is very important, because most of the questions that are mix of static things and dynamic things are from this section only, section B, social structure, right? So here you refer one book. There is Rural Sociology by S.L. Doshi and P.C. Jain. Rural Sociology, right? So where there are different topics like rural and agrarian structure. They have mentioned about agrarian structures, about land reforms. Also they have mentioned about some of the basic concepts of mobility and all. About caste systems also, to some extent they have mentioned. But for caste systems, I would recommend you that you refer purely Mahapatra sir's notes. It's very good. You trust me on paper 2. You will not regret about that thing. It's very good. So and you can also find the same things in Vikas Ranjan's book also. Okay, they've also mentioned it very well. And generally also, see, if you find it normally also on net, you will get, like, you try to use net as much as possible. For the net is the best source, I'm telling you. you shouldn't be dependent on, like, sociology is the optional where you can't be. For paper 1 you have to be dependent. For paper 1 I have already told you so many sources, right? So many books, so many things to do. But for paper 2 it's totally based on your personal effort. Seriously, you can't have, like, okay, there are some books like Essential Sociology is there, because Linus book is there, they have mentioned everything. Mahapatra sir's notes is there, they have mentioned everything. Okay, you'll read it, but still it's a dynamic subject. It keeps on changing. Features of caste system, you never know, in last 1 year or last 1 week you got some new feature. So if you search on net, something you will find, or something or other you will find, or something that you think has developed, like how caste system, what are the new, like recent, I'll tell you, intercaste marriages. It's not only about intercaste marriages, it's also about the sub parts of there are many forms of intercaste marriages, many forms. Okay, so you see somewhere everything is fine, but same caste also it's fine, but then issue is like profession. Like profession has to be something that the other person needs. Okay, this has to be there. Then there are at some places profession is matched, but then caste is issue. At some places everything is good, but then within one caste also there is like one upper caste, one higher caste, one lower caste, right? So we can't marry in that caste. Like for X caste also there is X1 caste, X1 subcaste, X2 subcaste. So X2 subcaste can't marry to X1 subcaste. So there are so many perspectives, but you should be eager to know it, right? And you can't know it by some sources, because everyone, I told you about ideal type, right? It applies here also. Sources are limited, knowledge is limited, but your curiosity is not limited, right? It should be like as infinite as possible. Okay, so you should keep searching, use net thoroughly for the basic for the basics of all these things. So you just type like caste system, perspectives of caste system by G.S. Ghore. You will find it in this books also. You will find. Okay, so it's up to you how much effort you want to make. You have to complete the thing. You just read it and move forward. Same goes with tribal communities. Tribal communities, see, most of the topics that have been mentioned here are mostly static, but those questions don't generally come, right? The questions that come are like inter-tribe and caste continuum, right? How tribal people are coming into the mainstream society and mingling with everyone and forgetting their basic culture, or adapting to new culture, acculturation. Okay, acculturation. All these things you should know, but you shouldn't be limited by the books. You should think by your own experience also. If you have seen in your real life, that would really help in answer writing. You just write in like 2 lines. Like for example, last year I visited that place, and for example I visited Andaman and Nicobar, and XX tribe was mentioning about the loss of their basic culture, their heritage, because of the tourism. So it shows that when you were on a tour, it wasn't about only roaming around. It was also about observing things, right? So you observed something and you have written. So it creates a very good impression that this person has a very practical mindset. He thinks about practicality of sociology also, and not only about theories. Okay, so this is about tribal communities. And social classes, again you will find in that book only, Rural Sociology. These are very simple things. Agrarian class structure, you should know, like there are different kind of farmers, right? You must be studying in general studies. There are you generally see that there is some division, 2 to 5 acres, less than 2 acres, mini farmers, minor, those kind, the major farmers and all. So those are the basic class structure, and how one class dominates over the other class. You see about deaths and suicides, everything is there. You have to just know the basic concepts from the books that I have mentioned, and then try to relate with current affairs. That's the only source. That's the only way to clear or crack this exam with sociology now as an optional. You should be as practical as possible. Even though subject is subjective, this is all very subjective, but you have to be very objective while writing answers. You should be very practical. You should be relating with current affairs in paper 2 specifically. Then systems of kinship, again same like paper 1 only. Paper 1 talks about worldly kinship systems in general. It talks about India. So here the main topics are like household dimensions and patriarchy and entitlements and sexual division of labor. So sexual division of labor, generally there is one question is always there, like how is it, what are the new forms, like if you talk pinkization of jobs, for example if you see a woman like a receptionist, air hostess, generally these are seen as jobs of women, these are soft jobs, like generally people see it, but that is a wrong perspective, right? People don't see like army or air force or some engineering, these people don't think that this is generally what, it's not about what people think, it's about what people try to enforce in the society, a thought that they want to prevail in society, right? But we have to ensure that the such thoughts don't prevail, and at least this exam should be a pedestal for you to step up and change the things around, especially about all these thoughts that are staying for so long in the society, right? So you have to mention, while writing answers in paper 2, you should be very optimistic in the end, like when they talk about like write the sociological perspective of sexual division of labor, for example this is the question in Indian society. So sociological perspective, sociological, explain it sociologically. So generally people get confused in this key, what do we mean by sociological perspective? Okay, so sociological perspective or sociological theories are two different things. Like sociological theories is mainly about theoretical concepts of all the thinkers and all the concepts, stratification, mobility, inclusion, exclusion, poverty, etc. And sociological perspective is having the perspective of a common man or a person who is seeing this society from the angle of the social concept. For example, when you talk about sociological perspective on poverty, so one idea is you mention about the thinkers, that is about sociological theories. You don't, like, that is totally theoretical, right? This thinker told that thing, this thinker told about this thing, this is the reason for poverty. Another thing is like we talk about poverty from the perspective of the elements like women, like children. So you talk like women's thought on poverty, why women think poverty exists. There can be many reasons. They think that poverty exists because their husband spends most of the money on liquor, their husband most of the money on drugs, on something else, on this gambling and all. So that can be their perspective, for the reason that they are not allowed to do job. Okay, they have to stay at home. So even though they are capable of earning, but still they are not earning. This is one perspective. Then why children think that poverty exists? They may think because there are no job opportunities. We are studying, we are doing engineering from good colleges, still we are not able to get good job. That can be another perspective. So these are sociological perspectives, right? From thinking from the society, from down to up. That is sociological. Sociological theories up to down. Okay, sociological theories are like theories has been designed seeing the situation. There is a theory that has been designed, and you are using that theory to define the situation. Situation is here. This is theory, and this is your perspective. So theory, situation, perspective. Sociological theory is about thinkers thinking about the situation. Perspectives is thinking about same thing from suburb, from the people, from the elements that are staying in the society, right? So then you see section C, final social changes in India. This is more about the government policies. Okay, morely about. So here you can use your public administration or paper 2's concept a lot. For example, ideas of development and mixed economy, totally about concepts. Only sociological perspectives that you have to use is you have to understand how it is affecting to women, to children, to gender, how it is affecting gender angle, the age angle, the caste angle, the different sections of the society. For example, development process. For example, if they talk about recently India is focusing on high level bridges across rivers. So describe the effects of such construction sociologically. Such kind of questions do come. It's very normal. Like last year they asked about, there was this Me Too movement last year. They asked about sociology of Me Too movement, write it. So sociology of constructing bridges, like bridges are the new thing in India as far as infrastructure is considered. So you don't write about thinkers, you write about sociological, the way I explained you earlier, right, from here to here. So how you write? Okay, while constructing bridges, who are the stakeholders that you should know? If there are any person staying nearby, they'll have to vacate. Or if it is affecting, like how is it affecting, how is it helping transport? Like for example, earlier the road was like this, they have to go through a huge circle to reach this point. Now due to this bridge, there will be a better deal of transit, so there would be a huge amount of economic benefit, right? Economic benefits will be there. So that economic angle is also a part of sociological perspective, right? Because it is something that is affecting people's life. A person who is reaching to another place in 1 hour instead of 6 hours may have more time to earn, may have more time with the family. Maybe if some person have to do up down and he's going through a long route and then he's facing stress and all, and he's not able to manage his family and all, but due to this bridge, this small thing, the sociological idea is that now he's stress free, he's able to meet his family, he's like more happy and more. These are small things that, see, the way this was something that I did not prepare earlier, that I'll tell this example. It came out naturally because you should know the art of thinking in sociology. That is a basic trick to do paper 2, right? You should know how a common person will be affected by it, and you don't write this whole process. It's only a way of explaining. Don't write this whole process that okay, a person is, you just write ki, for example, what is sociology? So you write saving time may lead to more family time, or may lead to more of free time, thus reducing stress levels, XYZ, something else, or may lead to better business, or may lead to saving of time, and time is somewhere like all that helps you to plan your day better. Everything gets better, right? These are small things. Who are displaced? People who are staying nearby, are they displaced? For example, in earlier the road was like this and there were many shops around there, but now those shops are not there. So where will those people go? And their jobs, for them it's not a good thing. They'll not support the idea of bridge because they were earning. Now they'll not earn because people will prefer the short route. So all those things you have to think. These are the small things, right? So constitution, law and social change. So for these things you refer to essential sociology, okay? And if you wish, then Mahapatra Sir's notes also, you refer to them, and then you try to form your own notes by seeing on net, searching on net, constitutional law and social change. Law and social change, how law is affecting, how, for example, this new law came, right? Now adultery is not a crime, and gay marriage is not a crime. So how will it affect? Like they can ask this new law, how social changes take, law and social change. So you tell ki law has the power to do, so like this is a huge social change, right? Earlier, like it was, even if someone was in a gay relationship, that person would never admit for the reason that it is illegal. They may be going to jail or somewhere. They may be considered as criminals. But now it's not the case. So this is social change, right? So this social changes in law, how they are intertwined, that you should understand. So this is the example that you have to think. They will not mention in the book, right? This is, for example, you have to think for other things also, like how law is changing and how it is leading to social changes, right? Like chalo, okay. Then rural and agrarian transformation, green revolution, social change, all of these things you will find there only. Politics and society, again same like paper 1 only, you use the same concepts but with Indian examples. Same concepts, nation, democracy, citizenship, there is nothing different from paper 1. Same notes for both the papers, only examples are different here. See, paper 2 you have to write example for every theory that you try to use. Okay, every theory that you use, you have to write one example, only that will fetch you marks. ठीक है, उसी से आपके मार्क्स आएंगे. तो and social movements and population dynamics. Social movements, again all of these are mentioned in history. All of these things are there. Peasants and farmers movements you will find. You search anywhere on the net, any source you use. These are the things that you see. Sources are never about the credibility of the sources. To be okay, it's there to some extent, but it's more about your trust. That your trust builds the credibility of the sources, and your trust depends on your maturity, your logics and your things, right? When you see a source, for example, if you are reading Harlem Post and if you find that okay, no, I'm not feeling the heat and I'm not understanding this thing, and how will this work, this is very complicated. Reading Ritzar is really complicated book, but many people don't like Ritzar. I've seen many aspirants who score very well even without reading Ritzar. But see, that's not the point, right? It depends on your trust on the source. I personally found Ritzar very good because I could trust it, I could understand the concepts there, right? But same may not be the case for other person. So don't trust, like don't label any source. This is the best. This is not the best. No, there are many sources. Every source depends. Their credibility depends on your trust on it, right? So same goes with this also. Paper 2, for example, is this women's movement. You just search women's movement in Indian subcontinent. You will find many women's movement. All the women's movement like NGOs or if there is any Seva is also there. Many movements are there in south, in north, northeast. You just jot down or you take a printout of those movements. Peasants and farmers movements, many movements are there. Tebaga movement, Telangana movement, so many things are there, right? Sorry, not Telangana, Tebaga movement. So same goes with ethnicity and identity movements, like SC movements were there. Ambedkar's time there were many movements. Environmental movements are there. Environmental that famous movement is there in Uttarakhand, right? In Rajasthan also it's there, Bishnoi community movement. So all of these things you will find on the net. So don't worry about these things, okay? Then challenges and social transformation, again very common. Caste conflicts, violence against women, poverty, deprivation, inequalities. All see. So paper 2 is mostly about your understanding of current affairs in sociological terms. That's the gist of paper 2, right? You should know how to relate sociological concepts with current affairs, and I've given you many examples. Now you should be able to understand what does it mean to have sociological perspective. Remember this thing I've told you, right? This theories, situation and perspectives. You just see different stakeholders in the society for everything. See, I'll give you one example. For example, if I'm asking about sociology of Ayushman Bharat, so you don't talk about thinkers here, right? There are no thinkers on this. Even though many people try to put thinkers, मतलब ज़बरदस्ती थिंकर्स लाने की कोशिश करते हैं कि अरे थिंकर तो लिखूंगा ही मैं. ऐसा नहीं होता है, ठीक है? थिंकर you shouldn't try to include them everywhere, only when they are relevant. So in sociology of Ayushman Bharat क्या है? Sociology of Ayushman Bharat ये कि how is it affecting normal people, how they are thinking, how is it changing sociological conditions. तो ये कि हेल्थ एंड वेलनेस सेंटर हम बना रहे हैं, तो उसमें क्या हो रहा है कि अब लोगों को वहाँ पे नहीं जाना पड़ रहा, मतलब शहर में नहीं जाना पड़ रहा, वहीं पे लोग इलाज कर रहा, अच्छी फैसिलिटी वहीं मिल रही है, तो डिपेंडेंट नहीं है, तो डिस्ट्रिक्ट का लोड कम होगा, यहाँ पे लोग ठीक करवाएंगे तो पैसा बचेगा, तो पॉवर्टी कम होगी, लोगों का कमिट. ये सब चीज़ें लिखनी नहीं है, ये सब माइंड में सोचनी है. यू हैव टू ओनली राइट दिस थिंग कि हेल्थ एंड वेलनेस सेंटर रिड्यूसेस द कॉस्ट ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन एंड ऑल्सो मोटिवेट्स पीपल टू डू डेली चेकअप्स, दस रिड्यूसिंग पॉवर्टी. बिकॉज क्योंकि खर्चा कम हो रहा है, कहीं जाना नहीं पड़ रहा है, वहीं रहना पड़ रहा है, तो पॉवर्टी रिड्यूस कर रहा है, तो ऑब्वियसली आप ये सोशोलॉजिकल एंगल हो गया. जेंडर का देख लो आप. जेंडर का ये है कि पहले वो शायद उनका एनीमिया ज़्यादा हाई था, फिर वो क्योंकि उनको या फिर उनका जो भी कैल्शियम के इश्यूज़ थे सब थे, वो कोई चेक कराता नहीं था क्योंकि फैसिलिटीज़ नहीं थी. अब सभी फैसिलिटीज़ वहीं पे आशा वर्कर्स बोल रहे हैं कि जाके चेक करा लो, अपने गांव में ही है, क्यों टेंशन ले रहे हो, फ्री है, कोई टेंशन नहीं है, तो करवाएंगे, तो ज़्यादा चांसेस है कि वो ज़्यादा हेल्दी रहेंगे. तो आप हेल्थ के ऊपर फोकस कर, मतलब वुमेन को एम्पावरमेंट दे रहे हो इनडायरेक्टली, राइट? So you don't write this full kahani that I'm telling. This you have to think in your mind the way I'm thinking right now. I'm not prepared all of this thing. I'm thinking it right now. So these are the small one-liners that you have to write. Okay, this is the thing. Okay, so and if I ask you like about concept of DOL, division of labor, then you write about. Then it's very difficult to write from like how do you explain division of labor from stakeholders' perspective. It's very difficult, right? It's involving stakeholders and it's more about how thinkers. So there you talk about thinkers, like what Marx talked about division of labor, what Weber talked about, what Durkheim talked about. Okay, so these are the basic things that you should know, whether to think from downside or from upside. Okay, so this is basically about sociology, both the papers, and how to approach them. Notes I've already told you. Try to use net as much as possible, please. Okay, so that will see I'm seeing paper 2 of 2019. the way they are talking, like elaborate urbanism as a way of life in India. There is no specific source for it. It's like every year this type of questions will come. You have to write there only. If you think about it. Chalo, okay. Thank you so much. I hope this session was useful. I'll upload the video for the same on IGTV also. So just see it, and I'll also upload on my YouTube channel also. Okay. So if you think it was useful, then please share also to other aspirants also. They'll also find some practicalities, right? Okay, so chalo, thank you, bye.